The joint military exercise between India and the US close to the LAC at the China-India border violates the spirit of the agreements signed between China and India in 1993 and 1996. It does not serve the mutual trust between China and India. China has already expressed concerns to the Indian side.
And we have Abhishek joining us live right now as we break this big story about Chinese objection to this annual exercise that takes place between the Indian and the US armies. Abhishek, we heard the Chinese Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson there as well. In fact, was stating that this sort of hampers the spirit between the two countries. But we spoke about this. This is an annual exercise. Is there a reason for China to object to an exercise, to a military drill that has been happening every year?
I mean, what spirit of the Chinese talking about, Sanika? Remember, just last week we had Chief of Army Staff, our Chief of Army Staff, General Manoj Pandey, telling us that the Chinese have not done anything insofar as their deployments at the LAC in the Ladakh sector go, and that the situation remains uncertain and that we remain in a state of full deployment. So the Chinese, after 18 rounds of talks or 17 rounds of talks post the Ladakh standoff and whatever happened in Galwan, we cannot forget the conduct of the Chinese, the kind of duplicitous conduct that we have seen on their part in terms of saying something and doing something else. So I think they should not be concerned about an exercise which has been going on for 2 decades almost. This is the 18th edition of Yuddha Abhyas between India and the United States, which have an enduring partnership going between the two nations. Just that perhaps this time there's a little more media attention to the exercise, but they have been happening in the same sector along the line of actual control and with the similar composition of troops. Since they began, India and the United States have signed almost half a dozen military pacts, and that includes the Lemua and the Comcasa, among others, and those pacts provide for these kind of exercises, in fact,
yes,
scale them up. So I think we are absolutely within international rules to be doing these exercises. In fact, these are happening as per Chapter 7 of the UN mandate on these kind of joint military exercises, which, by the way, China also carries out, for example, with Pakistan, which we never complain about, or with other nations in the world. And in fact, India and China are part of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which has a joint military exercise component, and there the Indian and the Chinese troops also share similar experience and skill sharing. So I think in that sense, the Chinese are overreacting, if at all. And as I said, the focus should be on de-escalating and fully pulling back from the Ladakh sector rather than making these kind of noises which really hold no water.
Yes. In fact, Abhishek, as we're talking about this breaking development, we also have Piyush joining us live from Uttarakhand, where the military exercises are taking place right now. Piyush, if you can quickly show us what's happening there in Uttarakhand as the military exercises are underway.
Well, Sanika, today's exercise has now come to an end and it will continue till December 2. And like our senior editor Abhishek Kapoor has also pointed out that yes, we are within our international rules to conduct this exercise. Though Defence Ministry has also made it very clear that it has nothing to do with the China. But we are now seeing how China coming out and complaining about this. We need to remind China that we do these exercises with not only with US but with all friendly nations. And last time in 2021, India had gone to Alaska, where there is always a -20 temperature. There we conducted a joint exercise with US Armed Forces, and this time US has come to India. Next year, India will also travel to US. So it happens every day, alternate years. The armies travel to each other's countries. And the main motive of this exercise is peacekeeping. It is basically taking place under the UN mandate. In fact, according to this UN mandate, there are multiple fields on which this exercise was focused. One is how is peacekeeping. Another one is also HADR, which means human assistance disaster relief operations. But China has got irked because LAC is merely 100 kilometers away from this very place, and the climatic conditions